Hello students, today we are going to discuss about the Parkinson's disease. Clear? And if you see this Parkinson's disease, which is a neurodegenerative disorder, and it is mainly characterized by the loss or progressive loss of dopaminergic neurons in the specific region of the brain. You will call it as a Parkinson's disease. Clear? See this, you can, okay, I am telling which is a neurodegenerative disorder, which is characterized by, that is, progressive loss of dopaminergic neurons, dopaminergic neurons in the specific region of the brain, that is substantia nigra pars compacta. Clear? So this you will call it as a Parkinson's disease. Clear? So in another sense, okay, you can also call it as which is a neurodegenerative disorder, that is in case of dopaminergic nigrostriatal pathway. See, what is this dopaminergic nigrostriatal pathway? Here inside our body we are having different dopamine pathways. Clear? See, among the different dopamine pathways, okay, if you see this nigrostriatal pathway, see, whenever there is a neurodegeneration in case of this nigrostriatal pathway, see, then you will call it as a Parkinson's disease. Clear? See, if there is a neurodegeneration in other parts of our other dopamine pathways, you cannot call it as a Parkinson's disease. If there is a neurodegeneration specifically in this nigrostriatal pathway, then only you will call it as a Parkinson's disease. Okay, this is regarding the definition of this Parkinson's disease, which is a neurodegenerative disorder mainly characterized by the loss or the progressive loss of dopaminergic neurons in the specific regions of the brain, that is specifically the substantia nigra pars compacta. Okay, and in another sense, okay, you can call this Parkinson's disease, which is a neurodegenerative disorder of dopaminergic nigrostriatal pathway. Clear? See, if there is a neurodegeneration in this nigrostriatal pathway, then only you will call it as a Parkinson's disease. Otherwise, you cannot call it as a Parkinson's disease. Clear? See, one more thing, you remember that there must be a balance between two neurotransmitters inside our body. Okay, see, that is dopamine, and next one is acetylcholine. Okay, always there must be a balance between these two types of neurotransmitters. Clear? See, the dopamine levels as well as the acetylcholine levels. See, but in case of Parkinson's disease, what happens? There will be decreased levels of the dopamine and increased levels of the acetylcholine. You are going to be observed here. Okay, decreased dopamine and increased acetylcholine levels you are going to be observed in case of this Parkinson's disease. Clear? See, later on we'll see, because of this decreased dopamine and because of increased acetylcholine, see what are the symptoms that you are going to be observed in case of this Parkinson's disease. Okay, this is something introduction about this Parkinson's disease. Okay, next we'll go on to the pathogenesis of this. Okay, next we'll see about the pathogenesis of this Parkinson's disease. Okay, before going to this pathogenesis, here you have to know about the nigrostriatal pathway. See, that means how this nigrostriatal pathway that is going to be working inside our body, and because of that pathway, how the body movements is going to be taking place. Okay, here initially you have to know what is meant by this nigrostriatal pathway. So later on we'll discuss about the pathogenesis of this Parkinson's disease. Clear? And if you see regarding this nigrostriatal pathway, here you are having one area, you will call it as that is substantia nigra pars compacta. Okay, if you see the substantia nigra pars compacta, which is that is rich in the dopamine neurons. Clear? See, that's why if there is any neurodegeneration, there will be lack of body movement. see, which is having projections onto the corpus, okay, striatum. Clear? See, once the dopamine, okay, from the substantia nigra paris compacta, which will be reaching to the corpus striatum, here which will be binding to two different types of receptors. Okay, see, that is D1 receptors, another one is D2 receptors. Clear? This corpus striatum having two receptors, that is D1 as well as the D2 receptors. Clear? See, once the dopamine binds with the D1 receptors of the corpus striatum, which will be activating the direct pathway. Okay, but if the dopamine binds with the D2 receptors of the corpus striatum, which will be activating the indirect pathway. So that means which is having two pathways, that is direct pathway and next one is the indirect pathway. Okay, we'll see what happens in case of direct pathway and what happens in case of indirect pathway. Clear? See, whenever the dopamine binds with the D1, okay, in the presence of GABA, this GABA, which is an inhibitory neurotransmitter, which will be carrying the impulses to substantia nigra paris reticulata. Okay, from the substantia nigra paris reticulata, the impulses will be carrying to, okay, thalamus with the help of GABA. Clear? See, next from this thalamus, which will be reaching to the cortex with the help of, okay, glutamate neurotransmitter from this spinal, okay, motor nerves, next which will be leading to the, okay, body movements. Okay, see, this pathway you will call it as a direct pathway. Okay, what is this direct pathway? See, once the dopamine binds with the D1 receptors of this corpus striatum, which will be carrying the impulses with the help of GABA, reaching to the substantia nigra paris reticulata, then which will be reaching to the thalamus and which will be stimulating the thalamus, where then finally stimulates the cortex. Finally, you are going to be observe the body movement. Clear? See here, you remember one thing, that is, see, once it binds, okay, to D1 carried by the GABA, here also carried by the GABA. See, that means two consecutive GABA neurotransmitters. Okay, this GABA, which is an inhibitory neurotransmitter. Clear? See, but how come these inhibitory neurotransmitters which will be carrying the impulses? Inhibitory neurotransmitter what? Which has to inhibit, okay, those actions or the impulses it has to inhibit. But how come it will be carrying those impulses? Clear? Two consecutive inhibitory, okay, neurotransmitters which can stimulate the next organ. Clear? See, that's why because of two consecutive GABA which will be stimulating the thalamus. Okay, next one is the glutamate, which is an excitatory neurotransmitter automatically which can excite the cortex, finally spinal motor nerves, and finally you are going to be observe the body movements. Okay, this we will call it as a direct pathway. Clear? And if you see, this direct pathway is going to be involved in the facilitation of wanted body movement. Okay, that wanted body movement, if you see, that means if you want to run, you can run, or if you want to walk, you can walk. Clear? See, that means that is wanted movement. Okay, because of the activation of this direct pathway, you are going to be observe the wanted body movements. Okay, and next one is, if you see regarding this indirect pathway, here which will be entering the impulses into one area that you will call it as globus pallidus lateral. Okay, this also in the presence of GABA neurotransmitter. From this which will be reaching to subthalamic nuclei. This also with the help of GABA neurotransmitter. From this, okay, which will be reaching to substantia nigra paris reticulata with the help of the glutamate neurotransmitter. Clear? So this pathway you will call it as an indirect pathway. But this indirect pathway, if you see, this is going to be involved in the facilitation of suppression of body movement. How this indirect pathway is going to be suppressing the body movements, that we'll see. Clear? See, it binds to the D2 receptors, which will be reaching to the globus pallidus lateral with the help of GABA neurotransmitter. Clear? See, already told you two consecutive GABA which will be exciting or stimulating the next organ. Clear? See, because of these two consecutive GABAs which will be stimulating this subthalamic nuclei. Clear? See, that subthalamic nuclei which will be from that area, glutamate which will be carrying the impulses to, that is substantia nigra parens reticulata. Here if you see the glutamate followed by the GABA here. Clear? See, the glutamate followed by the GABA. See, that means GABA means, I told you, inhibitory neurotransmitter. So which will be inhibiting this thalamus. So what happens? You cannot observe the body movements. Clear? See, that's how, because of this indirect pathway, what happens, which will be finally suppressing the body movements. Clear? So this about the direct pathway as well as the indirect pathway, if you are going to be observed in case of this nigrostriatal pathway. Okay, this pathway you will call it as a nigrostriatal pathway. See, but what happens in case of Parkinson's disease? Clear? In case of Parkinson's disease, what I told you, there will be degeneration of neurons in the substantia nigra parens compacta. So what happens? Very less quantity of dopamine reaching to the corpus striatum. Okay, less quantity or sometimes no dopamine is going to be reaching to the corpus striatum, so which are unable to bind with its receptors, that is D1 or D2. So what happens? Automatically you cannot observe the body movements. Clear? So this what is going to be happening in case of the Parkinson's disease. Clear? So later on, next we'll see, okay, because of this, okay, what are the symptoms, okay, you are going to be observed in case of this Parkinson's. Next we'll see what are the symptoms, okay, you are going to be observed in case of this Parkinson's disease. Clear? See, that is like tremors. Okay, next you are going to be observed rigidity or paralysis. Next one is bradykinesia and next one is postural instability. Here fascinations and next one is retroversions. Clear? See, these are some symptoms you are going to be observed, that is tremors. Okay, next one is rigidity or paralysis and next one is bradykinesia. Bradykinesia means decreased body movements. Next one is postural instability. See here two postural instability are going to be observed, that is festinations and retroversions. That means if anybody falling forward, okay, if anybody is falling forward, you will call it as a festination. Clear? And if they are falling backwards, okay, that you will call it as retroversions. Clear? These are some primary symptoms you are going to be observed in case of this Parkinson's disease. And next, secondary symptoms. Okay, secondary symptoms like silaria. Okay, and next one is micrographia. Okay, these two are the secondary symptoms. Okay, you are going to be observed, that is silaria, and next one is the micrographia. Okay, silaria means increased salivary secretions. Clear? See, already I told you there must be a balance between the dopamine and acetylcholine. See, because of high levels of acetylcholine, okay, inside our body, the secretions is going to be increases. Here, in case of Parkinson's disease, specifically the salivary secretions is going to be increased. Clear? See, that's why you will call it, you will get the symptom, that is silaria, and next one is the micrographia. If you see this micrographia, here those who are suffering with this Parkinson's disease, those handwriting will be very small. Clear? That means it will be like a letters of an ant. Clear? See, that means they are unable to move their hands. That means lack of body movements. They are going to be writing very small handwriting. Okay, that you will call it as a micrographia. Okay, these are some symptoms you are going to be observed in case of this Parkinson's disease. Okay, and next if you see regarding the causes for this Parkinson's disease, mainly three things you remember, that is aging is one of the factor, and next one is the genetic factors you are having, and next one is you are having the toxins. Clear? So these three factors mainly which will be causing this Parkinson's disease. See, these three factors which will be creating some oxidative stress, okay, inside our body. See, because of that oxidative stress, what happens? Some free radicals is going to be released. That free radicals is going to be damaging the neurons, clear, which will be leading to this Parkinson's disease. Is it clear? You remember the three factors, that is aging factor, okay, and the next one is the genetic factors, and the third one is the toxins. Clear? So these three factors which will be creating some oxidative stress inside our body, and which will be releasing some oxygen free radicals, and finally that oxygen free radicals is going to be damaging the, you will call it as the neurons. Clear? So this all regarding the causes as well as the symptoms, and finally if you see one hallmark feature that will be present for this Parkinson's disease. Okay, what is that hallmark feature, okay, of this Parkinson's disease is the presence of Lewy bodies in case of the nerve cells. Okay, that is the presence of, okay, Lewy bodies in case of nerve cells. Clear? See, this Lewy body is nothing but the aggregate of different proteins. Okay, that will be present inside the nerve cells. Clear? See, that means if any nerve cells, okay, which is having the aggregates of different proteins, that you will call it as Lewy bodies, and which will be acting like one of the hallmark feature in case of this Parkinson's disease. Okay, see, that's all students about this Parkinson's disease. Thank you so much.